Buckle up. It's the Insurance Dudes podcast.
I'm in the same position you were a couple of years back, scratch agency here in Nebraska. My biggest issue is just finding somebody, because I signed up. I'm like, oh, tell the dudes, like, this won't be that bad. I'll start getting calls. Well, now it's like I'm working nonstop because I'm trying to quote, trying to set the appointments, also trying to be like involved in these meetings, also working with like agency MVP on like the success of using that CRM to the best, and then also everything else with farmers. My biggest thing is, how do we find some staff? Would you be open to remote staff? I have a lady that's from like California that wants to work for me, but it's like, can't really hope that the metrics are correct. What she sends.
Okay, I'll chime in first. I like remote teams, but you need a home base. This is just my opinion. And you need to establish the home base first, especially otherwise that's a whole nother element that's going to be added of pain to figure out, because you're already trying to figure out, like you said, so many different things. So I would say in office. I would also say I think the hardest things early on is just expenses, right? Things cost money. You know what I mean? Either you're going to exchange money for time. There's a finite amount of time, and it sounds like your time is pretty much extended. So I would leverage money. If you have to take out a loan, but like a service like Team Hired, awesome. We'll get you people lined up for your hiring. And then in that case, then you could just figure out questions that you want to ask. What are the important values that you have as an agency and characteristics? And then so when they line up those people for you, you can weed through them faster. It's kind of like this. Now that you're quoting a ton, right? You can probably weed out certain people faster. Like you can spot things better because of the volume. And I think that when you hire like that, where you got a bunch of people lined up, and you do a bunch of interviews all together, you can pretty much see the diamonds and gems within those people. It makes it a lot easier than just one at a time. That's where like a Team Hired. Well, what do you think, Josh?
No, I think to your point, I would say my only thing would be about remote is I think it's really hard to develop culture and get somebody really bought in on what you're doing. I mean, if you have to do it in the short term because that's your only option, it might be better. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that's the best model, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. But I would say ideally, you've got to have a home base. You've got to be, like we were talking about with the meetings, you've got to have people that are going to be connected to you every day. So if they can't be a part of the team and they don't feel like they're a part of the team, I mean, we have telemarketers through TeleDudes. And, you know, one of the biggest downsides of that is they're in the Philippines, right? But we have done everything we can to create an atmosphere where she's part of our team. And once we did that, her results have taken off. So you have to have that culture. You have to have that sense of team. Otherwise, you just have a bunch of independent people out there that aren't bought in, and you can't build a solid agency or a solid business around that long term, I don't think.
Right. Yeah, you'll have incredible turnover. And I mean, I had it for years and years, turnover, because it was like, I interview one, hire them, they last until I didn't like them or they washed out, whatever, and just rinse, wash, repeat. The way to approach and think about hiring is the same as your sales funnel. You have to talk to 60 people. You have to line up 60 people to get 20 to show up, 20 to show up to get one that is actually good. And most agents interview one or two or three people and they pick one of them. And it's like, you're just not finding the right people that way. That's why, to what both of them said, I mean, somebody like Team Hired, I've had tremendous success building a team that these two guys have both seen, and Brandon, and that, I mean, I haven't had turnover. I haven't had turnover in a year. Like, it's the same team. And, you know, there's a lot to it, but we built the culture. With remote, I have one guy that is remote, but I would not start it that way. That's like an add-on.
That's an add-on. Yeah, exactly.
I had three people I offered jobs to, and they just had to get licensed and talked for a few weeks, and they were telling us going good, working on it. And then one day, it's a week out till they're supposed to start, and all of a sudden they just disappear.
Right. Yeah.
And then my girlfriend might be starting with me soon, but it's like, I don't want to go down, like what Josh and them did with no income from both of us, really, just everything's being put into this company, because now we've been sitting here, and before this, like, I felt like I was doing nothing with my leads, and now it's like, okay, now my leads are into the funnel, and then now I'm just trying to figure out, like, the 20 I'm getting daily, do I call those myself, or do I just straight up hand them right to the marketer and just have her call immediately on those?
I mean, I have my Dudettes are on all of everything fresh. I mean, I've tested it both ways. no difference. I mean, because I just look straight at the cost per sale. The cost per sale is just as good or better when the front end of the funnel is them, because they're sifting through them. They're finding the contacts, right? Those 20 leads, you're only going to talk to 2 of them today. So
yeah, my cost per sale right now, when I just factored it with my lead vendor recently, it was like $172 and like 30 cents or something.
Over
right
how
now,
long?
Now just over this last photo cycle, because us farmers are weird.
Yeah.
Ours ends here in 2 days.
Yeah. Well, and that's pretty good. If you're under $200.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at like 80 quotes though, so that's my issue. It's just not the volume's just not there. So I'm hoping over this next month that volume just picks up.
To my point, or to our point earlier, you're talking about whether or not you should take the calls or let them do it. I mean, it's to the same thing I was talking about earlier. If you do it, that's fine. You'll probably have more success today, but you're going to hurt yourself in the long run. You've got to get to, I mean, that it's proven that you're only going to be able to grow and scale if you have other people doing it for you. And as long as you're always the solution, you're going to have the same conversation 6 months from now. So I think you've got to find a way to rely on your telemarketing team and other people to really to work that out for you. You might suffer in the short term, but I promise you it's proven. Look at Jason, look at Craig, look at all these other guys that are further down the road than all of us. It's the only way to grow, and it's the only way to scale so that you actually have a quality of life, and your business is going to be way better for it. So you've got to find a way to just trust the system. And I've done it. I've had some stuff where we were doing pretty well, managing it more in-house. But once I started just relying on the system and doing that, we've been fine. I mean, there hasn't really been a big drop off. So I think you just got to trust it and go for it.
And I would add,
I need some producers.
I would add, so look at kind of like what we said earlier, look at you said there's a few people that you've lined up that were going to come into the agency. Just just fill that pipeline, fill it so much that there's no, like, you're going to be terrified if everybody works out. You know what I mean? It's better to have that problem than the other problem. So just go all in, fill that pipeline, get a ton of people that want, and continue that every day. When I did my scratch agency, we did an in-house process, and we did it a lot like we did with the Teledudes. And it was the same process. And it was every day lined up. I had to line up so many interviews a day because we knew that they'd fall off. And then, you know what I mean? And we just kept doing it. It was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of booked interviews. And we filled all the seats at the end of it, but just look at it like that. It's the same process. Just get those leads, get them to, agree to being a part of the agency, try to get them licensed. And even though that you have 3 people and you only want 1, get 4 more people that say yes to it. And then you won't have to worry about your girlfriend or anything. And
if they all show up, then figure out how to pay them. And guess what? You're going to get results.
It's a good problem. Yeah.
It's the best problem ever. It's been my experience. They don't all show up. It just doesn't happen.
I'm just trying to get away from, like you guys said, wearing all the hats, because it's like you can't successfully run a business if you're doing everything. I think Bill kind of is in the same spot as me here locally. He actually is like 15-minute drive from me. We had a meeting the other day with another local farmer's agent, and I mentioned you guys and sent a link to our area rep guy, and here's Bill today.
Yeah. Well, awesome. You pool resources. There's ways to share. You can get creative. Jason and I did a lot of that in the beginning when we opened Scratch right near at the same time. And you got to find a buddy and bounce stuff off of. And that's also what's so great about this community is, you've got a whole bunch of buddies here. So
totally.
Thanks,
Dylan. My
that's
issue
awesome.
is I just started this and I'm going on vacation for a week Friday.
Oh boy.
You guys still have a call and set appointments? Sorry.
I've literally been signed up for about an hour. So no kidding. I mean, it was, I literally got off the phone with Haley 25 minutes before this started. So
that's awesome.
That's funny.
Welcome.
Welcome.
We love it.
Welcome. And then Ryan has his hand up. Let's jump over there. Thanks, Bill and Dylan. Asked to unmute. Is Ryan there?
How about now? Can you guys hear me?
Yes. How's it going?
How's it going, you guys? And
awesome.
Jason, fellow Southern Californian, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. I'm glad to be a part of the team. I'm down here in Laguna Niguel, so not too far away from you, man.
Nice. Love it.
Nice. I love it there.
Yes. So, hey, we got rolling, of course, on Teledudes officially on Monday, which our amount of transfers we had was just absolutely phenomenal in the last 48 hours, and we are stoked and ready to go. I did asked for my primary sales producer, Sandy. He had some questions. Do you guys have a suggestion? Because, of course, we do get a lot of these prospects that are calling in because, of course, our telemarketer was not able to connect with them, and they're calling us back on our sales-only line. For when the prospects call back, do you recommend setting up a voicemail at all, or would you avoid that at all costs? Because I'm kind of worried about the whole.
You get a better result if they'll call back. If they've called once, they're going to call back again because you're going to call
and avoid the voice.
Can't say the A word on here, but I would just have you don't need a voicemail.
Okay, so
are you not able to try both calls?
You could try both of those. What was that, Josh?
Are you not able to answer the calls? Is that what you're saying? Like your people are busy, or you just
they can't
no. So the telemarketers, of course, our telemarketers not leaving voicemails. So of course, randomly throughout the day, basically because they're using our sales only line. So we're getting the prospects that are calling back the sales only line, wondering, well, who the heck is calling me? Of course, from this unknown number that's not leaving a voicemail. So of course, we're picking it up and we're immediately trying to drill in and say, hey, let's go ahead and get you started on a quote. And then sometimes, of course, if it doesn't have to get picked up, obviously avoid the whole voicemail aspect, I'm assuming.
Yeah. And you could test it both ways too. You never know what's going to work the best. And that's just, we've tested every different possible way. For us, it's better if there isn't. Yeah. They just answer. They're like, hello. Like they don't say any, it's just hello. How you doing?
And then, Jim? Do you guys have any recommended TalkPass or scripts that you recommend, not for the actual transfers, but of course, when those prospects call back wondering who the heck is calling me, what should I have my staff saying?
Yeah.
Of course,
hello. Hey, Dave. How you doing? Awkward
and if
pause.
They don't know who's calling,
then identify yourself.
They ask. We used to overcomplicate it. We used to try to be all fancy with it. Hi, this is the Phanco group. How can I help you? And you would have this little script, didn't work. So all we do now, their name pops up, depending on what system you have. I don't know. But in our world, we know who's calling back in. We can see their name and their number. So we'll just call and go, hey, this is Josh. Hey, is this Justin? Hey, how you doing, Justin? Right. And they love hearing their name. So we always drop their name if we can see it. Always drop their name. And then they go, yeah, this is Justin. Who's this? You're like, oh, hey, it's Josh. I was just giving you a call. Thank you so much for calling us back. We're so excited to get a hold of you. And, just get Brandon, man, if you could get Brandon to answer your phones, these guys will talk to you for the next 3 minutes. But have his energy. You got to train him to have that energy. Like, Justin, man, it's so good to talk to you, man. Thanks so much. Like, we've just been so eager to get a hold of you. It looks like we got information here about your quote, about your auto insurance. I've got everything pretty much ready to go. I just need to verify some stuff. And you just go right into it. And they if they don't want to talk to you, they'll hang up. Who cares? We actually made a sale yesterday. On a callback, exactly that way.
And think about what Josh did. Nobody wants this quote, right? Nobody's interested in getting an insurance quote. It's the worst thing. It's like the dentist. So that call comes, the person is like, wait, who is this? But Josh is so cool and he has so much energy. The guy's at least giving him a chance. And then when the dreaded insurance topic comes up, now he's like, dang it. But this guy's all right. Okay, I'll stay on, right? It's either that or they hang up. And I think that all you want to do is increase your chances, increase your probability on every single interaction. And that's the whole point of this, right? It's numbers. And so if you're doing large volume and you can increase your probability here, it's like inside baseball, right? We're just trying to increase those numbers based on the data. And so I love that, Josh. It's great.
Yeah, I love callbacks. At first I kind of looked at it as like, oh, but then I started thinking about it. Wait, these people they got a missed call and they took enough time to call it back. They're curious.
It's crazy.
They either are waiting for you. They're trying to they're thinking it's somebody that's going to call them for business. We get a lot of calls from landscapers back. They think that somebody's calling them to get their their lawn mowed or whatever it might be. So they tend to always call back. But man, if these people took the time to call you back, that is the guy you want to get on the phone, and you better bring energy, because I'm telling you, you'll get a pretty good response back if you do it. So those are great ones. Train your people to answer that phone.
A little over the top.
Thanks, man. That's gold. Thank you.
Yeah. And so I would challenge you to do this. Have fun with this. So we talk about meetings, right? I would hold a meeting within the next 30 minutes or whenever they're back from lunch. Have a meeting and say, hey guys, let's approach this. So basically the two things: you don't want to sound like a salesperson. You don't want to sound like a telemarketer. You want to sound like their buddy. So write out a script with them, say, hey, how can we not sound like a telemarketer, not sound like a salesperson when they call us back, and start writing it out. Have fun with it. Have your team kind of work it in, get that script going, and then have everybody memorize it. It'll probably be like 2 lines or whatever. And then just teach them the transition of going right into the quote without asking for it. Don't ever ask for the quote, just go right into it. But those few lines, have them help you come up with it. Something that sounds like it's like their friends or however they talk to their friends. And then hit the phones hard, and then have a little contest with them. Hey man, whoever can get a quote, whoever can get 2 quotes for the rest of the day, I'll give you, $20 or whatever, something like that. And I bet you could kickstart those callbacks today.
I like it, Jason. Thank you, man.
You got it,
Ryan. I don't know if you went into the PPC, the Peak Performance Challenge, but there's a ton of that stuff in there in the member site that you can grab.
I have not had a chance to yet, but that's on the member site you were saying.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, there's tons
all
of
the gold.
Yeah.
The gold. So
cool.
Right on.
Well, cool. We've gone the distance, Mr.
Gone
Jason.
the distance. Yes. Love it.
So,
is there any final last minute questions? Or we'll just it is Mr. Craig is hungry.
Quick one, if you got
Yes. What's up,
Bill? Wild Bill.
Yes. Sorry, my assistant just interrupted me as you start talking to me. Okay, so I've started off with the fire burner.
Yes, the phone system.
Phone burner system. So when you guys are talking, when you get that callback, you guys are using the ricochet system, and that callback's telling you which one of those people is calling you back. And I'm assuming the phone burner system does not do that, correct?
No, but it doesn't matter. So
Landon's over there going.
So here's the thing: is workshop it. Just like I said with Ryan, I would do the same thing. Workshop it. So that's the challenge, right? Is that you don't know their name. Hey, let me double check. Who's this? Did you call me? Yeah, let me check. Who's this? Oh, Ryan. Oh, hey, Ryan. How's it going? Oh, I know our office was trying to get a hold of you. So glad that you took the time, man. So, and then go into it or whatever. But I'd workshop that a little bit. I'm sure you could come up with something fire to.
Something will work.
Yeah.
But tonality, I'm telling you, tonality is the base of all of it. If you're upbeat.
Yep. And not sounding like a telemarketer or a salesperson. So tonality,
right?
But not sound like,
hi, this is hello. Who's this?
Oh, so I got to change my entire damn voice. That's what you're telling me.
It's just, but you can do it, right? Like, it's just, hey, how you doing? And they're like, whoa, this guy. Like, I mean,
Phil, who's your best friend?
Craig's my best friend now, I suppose.
Yeah.
Who calls you, and what do you guys talk about? What gets you guys excited? Like, what would
Guns and motorcycles.
Perfect.
There you go.
So, dude, hey, Bill, I just got a new Smith & Wesson. You got to check it out. Like, what would you say?
Are those at the same time, guns and motorcycles, or are those like 2 different hobbies?
Same time.
Like
Mad Max.
This is the Wild West here in Nebraska, man. You go 20 miles west of where I'm sitting right now. It's no man's land.
I stuck out, and he got through the gatekeeper, got to you.
He didn't even have the wrong name, but I loved his energy so much. And then he called back and he did the same thing with somebody else in our office, but we still talk about that guy.
I know we're going way over, but Josh, can you tell the story? Cause I think that story is money.
Yeah. So hopefully my headset doesn't die again. I'll plug in real quick if it does, cause this is worth it. So I get a call on myself in my office, right? So I'm sitting there, I get a call. I answer it like, my little monotone voice. Hello, this is Josh. It's like, he didn't even listen. He's like, Russ, hey, how are you? And I'm like, Russ, that happened to be that was one of our producers at the time. He's like, Russ, how are you? And I'm like, fine, but this isn't Russ. He's like, wait, what? This isn't Russ? I'm like, no. I'm like, who is this? This is Josh. I'm like, are you looking for Russ? He's like, yeah, I'm looking for Russ. And he's just super excited. I mean, it was the happiest guy in the world. Anyway, long story short, by the time we figured it out, he was trying to call one of our producers to try to funnel life insurance sales to him. So he was some guy that was selling a service where you could get life sales funneled into his agency and they would make money. So he was calling one of our guys off a lead list. But his energy level was so high that we had a fun time on the phone call. And I told him, well, it's actually funny. I'm his boss. And, he'd probably be a little alarmed if he knew that you were calling him and all that kind of stuff. Well, anyway, get off the phone call because he obviously wasn't looking for me. No more than 30 seconds later, he calls my wife's cell phone. She's literally 5 feet away from me right now. And I can hear it through the phone. She answers the phone. He goes, Russ, hey, how are you? And she goes, she goes, who is this? And she goes through the whole story, and she goes, well, funny enough, you just called my husband, and he's sitting right across from the way from me. And anyway, we had a good old time. He was laughing. We were laughing. He ended up calling me back like a few minutes later and just like, hey, I just want to apologize. I must have had my information wrong. I told him, hey, it didn't matter, man. You made our day. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. You're going to be really, really successful in what you're doing. It was just awesome. I mean, to this day, and that was like an absolute lesson to me. Your energy is all that matters. He didn't even have my name right. I wanted to talk to the guy. So it was so cool. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
People love it. They love it.
I got one last thing in closing. Josh, who's the lady behind you?
Oh, can you hear me? That's my daughter. She's here for summer school. So yeah, that's my daughter. We're a family agency. So
everybody wave at her.
There you go. There she goes.
I was like,
my teenage daughter.
Just sitting back there forever.
Well,
I actually got to go sell her a policy. So let me go.
Yeah. Well, hey, everybody, thank you for jumping on and doing this interesting methodology of recording the show. You're all going to be on it permanently. So congratulations. And thank you, Josh.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Huge.
Let me just say this too.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome, and we're all grateful to you guys. You don't get told that enough. So we just appreciate all the work that you guys do all the time. Thank you.
Oh man. You're the best.
Guy. I'm
going to keep you around.
Yeah.
Check in the mail. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to clip that out. I'm going to send that to my wife.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Because she's not going to listen to this.
No, she will.
All right. Well, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We'll catch you on the next Wednesday. And I'll wrap it now.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
That was another awesome episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to get a little bit more action and learn how to write 100,000 in premium off of even the worst internet leads, where could they go?
They can go to live.teledudes.com.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are we going to be there?
Yes. It's a weekly call that we're doing right now it's live, and it will show you the process. The entire process is super awesome.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sign up right now. Live.teledudes.com.
Live.teledudes.com. That's live.teledudes.com.
Hey, Craig, there's a new community that we are starting that I cannot wait to tell everybody about. It is our live texting community where you and I are going to answer people's questions and give them free content, right?
Are you kidding me? We get to talk to them?
Yeah, which is awesome, but they have to opt in. They have to text us at 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
Nice.
Craig, are you going to respond to these texts?
I'm going to respond to them for sure. Live.
I'm into it too. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be our new texting community where we're going to get back to everybody that we can and drop some crazy content, free content, and free the calculator that you just came up with. That's right. The calling calculator, sales material. I mean, everything for insurance agents. This is it. It's the best texting community out there for insurance agents.
Well, what the heck is that number again? I can't remember it.
It's 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
I love it. I'm going to text it right now.
520-214-2219.
All right. I'll see you later, Mr. Jason.
Bye, Mr. Craig.
Wait, do they even listen to this on the radio anymore?
I love it. I love it.
Nice.
All right.